All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. In chat, I'm going to post some of the kind of rules and how the virtual meeting is going to work. Basically, try to keep yourself muted at all times. Use the raise hand feature when you want to talk, and Mr. Hintz, the chair, will call on you. I am a little under the weather, in case you can't tell, so for the most part, staff is going to be helping with the roll call and helping run the meeting. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Mr. Hintz to get us started.
Thanks, Mark. And just so you know, you also need to co-host me so I can see the hands raised. But for the public, welcome to the October 21st meeting of the Oshkosh Plan Commission.
John, you're muted right now.
Okay, I was holding the space bar down. Where did I go out?
At the very first comment.
Okay. So for those who would like to know, we will introduce the item. Staff will present the item. Then we'll come back to the Plan Commission. We will ask technical questions. Then we open it up to public comment. Then it comes back to the commission for a motion and final comments, and we will take a vote. With that said, would we please take the roll?
Ford.
Here.
Groth.
Here.
Kiefer.
Here.
Mitchell.
Here.
Perry.
Here.
Stengel.
Here.
Marshall. Ulavali.
Here.
Davy.
Here.
Prop. Hens.
Here.
We have 9.
Okay, thank you. And with that, to accept a motion for approval of the minutes, unless anybody has any changes or deletions or anything else that needs to be done to them.
I'll make a motion. John Kiefer.
This is Ford, second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. Okay, minutes are approved. Move on to item number 1. Grant electric easement at 811 East Murdoch Avenue, Oshkosh Fire Station number 18 to Wisconsin Public Service Corporation. City of Oshkosh is the petitioner.
Site visits.
Were there any site inspections by anyone? If there were, just raise your hand. And by raise your hand, I mean raise your hand on the chat, or so I can see all the people that would have inspected it. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone that had any site inspections. Chair accepts the staff report as part of the record. Yeah, I turn it over to you.
The city is requesting the granting of a public utility easement to Wisconsin Public Service Corporation for underground electrical facilities. Site is the Oshkosh Fire Station number 18 property at 811 East Murdoch Avenue. Wisconsin Public Service is proposing to install a underground secondary conductor that will connect a new utility pole on the adjoining property. The new underground electric lines are necessary to serve adjacent parcels as well as the fire station property if additional services are ever needed. The proposed easement is located on the east side of the property, leading from the south lot line, heading north along the east lot line. The easement is proposed to be 5 feet wide by 130 feet long. The easement will allow WPS to access the property, install the underground electric lines, and maintain and replace the facilities as needed. Easement is subject to conditions and restrictions listed in the easement agreement. The city attorney's office is coordinating with the Department of Public Works and has prepared a draft of the easement documents. And the signed easement agreement and easement will be recorded at the Winnebago County Register of Deeds upon approval by the Common Council, which is scheduled for next Tuesday, October 27th. The staff is recommending approval of granting of the proposed electric easement at 811 East Murdoch Avenue to WPS as proposed.
Okay, thank you. With that, if there are any technical questions from the Plan Commission, please use the raise your hand thing on here and I'll call on you. Okay, seeing no technical questions, we will move on to public comment. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to comment on this item? Okay, not seeing anybody from the public on it or wanting to comment. I'm going to close public statements, come back to the commission for action. We'll accept the motion at this time.
Ford, I'll make a motion to adopt the findings and recommendations as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Justin Mitchell.
Okay, it's been moved by Mr. Ford and seconded by Mr. Mitchell. Any comments? Okay, ask that we call the roll.
You're muted, Brian.
You got to unmute yourself first, Brian. All right, looks like some technical difficulties. I'll call the roll for this one. Excuse the cough. Ford.
Aye.
Growth.
Aye.
Kiefer.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Stengel.
Aye.
Coulibaly. Coulibaly.
Aye.
Davy.
Aye.
Hintz.
Aye.
Motion carries 9-0.
Mark, I should be unmuted now.
You're good to go now, Brian, it sounds like.
Okay, we all caught up, guys?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 2, public hearing, conditional use permit request to allow a roof-mounted small solar energy system at 924 South Sawyer Street. Grant Schlieve is the owner and Joseph Schindler is the petitioner. Were there any site inspections? If you had any site inspections, use the raise hand option on here, please. Okay, I'm seeing none. We accept the staff report as part of the record, and staff, move to you to present the item.
Thank you. So item 2 is a conditional use permit request for a solar panel system on a residential property. So you can see the subject site there outlined. So it's a single family residential lot, and the immediate surroundings are all single family residential. I think a number of the properties are zoned SR9, and then some to the west are zoned SR5. So mostly residential. Spanbauer Park and Franklin Elementary School are to the northwest of the subject property. And then you can see some mixed commercial properties kind of sprinkled in on the outside of this map here. Just an aerial showing the subject property there. So this is the system that they are looking to install on the property. You can see it's a 23 panel solar system, and it would be installed on the eastern and southern sides of the roof to make use of the, or to make the most of the solar exposure there. So there'd be a group of 6 panels on the south side and a second group of 17 panels on the east side of the roof. Just give you a sense of this here with this plan. That's just an eagle view aerial. It's a little bit hard to see on the screen there, but you can see the subject property there, there in that residential neighborhood. Wanted to note that Wisconsin statutes limit our ability. They essentially preempt us from prohibiting these systems. Basically, they restrict our ability. The system has to, or the regulation actually has to satisfy one of the following conditions. Basically serves to preserve or protect the public health or safety, does not significantly increase the cost of the system or significantly decrease its efficiency, or allows for an alternative system of comparable cost and efficiency. In this case, none of these applies, and we don't really see any reason for prohibiting or regulating the system other than running through the conditional use process here. The petitioner's application stated that the solar array will not negatively impact the neighboring properties. It's a pretty standard roof-mounted system. I believe it's flush-mounted, so though you can see it from the street, we don't see any negative impacts with this one. You can just see some images there from Google Street View just showing the surrounding properties from the street. And then these are images that were in an earlier staff report, and we've just included them again, just showing you again what these systems look like from street view or from, you know, someone's yard, you know, from ground view there. And so with that, we recommend approval of the proposed conditional use permit for installation of this system as an accessory use as proposed, with the findings listed in your staff report.
Thank you. We have any technical questions to the staff? Okay, seeing no technical questions, I'm going to open public comment up, and I don't know if we have the applicant on for a statement. Okay, do we have anybody on for a public comment right now? Does anybody want to speak? Okay, we'll close public comment, come back to the commission, and we will accept a motion at this time.
Move to accept the staff report as written.
Second. There's Kiefer.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Michael, is that your hand up or not? Am I misreading this?
Oh yeah, that is my hand. Just want to say real quick that even though I realize we don't have much power on this because of the state, this is a cool project, and the more solar, the better.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
I have nothing against the project. I was just curious. I understand that all the safety measures are met, but my understanding is that solar panel essentially uses solar energy to charge a battery that is in turn used to deliver electricity. Is that the way? And in those circumstances, is there any check on the installation to make sure there's no hazards, for the other thing, the other part of the system that we do not see?
Yeah, they have to get building permits, electrical permits. It all has to be inspected and approved.
Yep. Inspections does require that structural calculations and all that be submitted, and I think they were. A pretty comprehensive package was submitted and I think reviewed by inspection. But yes, as Mark said, that's all part of the building permit process.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? I'm seeing none, so is that someone else that wanted to speak? Okay, with that, let's call the roll.
Ford,
Aye.
Gross,
Aye.
Kiefer,
Aye.
Mitchell,
Aye.
Perry,
Aye.
Single,
Aye.
Kulabali,
Aye.
Davy,
Aye.
Hens.
Aye.
Pass 9-0.
Okay, item number 3, public hearing, conditional use permit for a residential group development located at the east 3200 block of Whitetail Lane, Pheasant Trail Development. Midwest Real Estate Development is the petitioner. Do we have any site inspections? Okay, not seeing any. We accept the staff report as part of the record and turn it over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, Midwest Real Estate Developments requesting approval of a conditional use permit for a group development consisting of 7 two-family structures with a total of 14 dwelling units. The subject property is part of 2 parcels and will be approximately 2.67 acres in size, located on the east side of the 3200 block of Whitetail Lane. This area is generally located west of Highway 41, south of Waukau Avenue. Subject site's in the center of the screen here. And the surrounding area, this has been a development by Midwest, which began in the early 2000s. To the north and west, we have several condominium developments. To the south is currently vacant, and to the east is some vacant land, and a little further east is commercial developments along Interstate 41. The site is currently zoned MR12, multifamily residential 12, as is the rest of the surrounding area to the north, south, and west. The comprehensive land use plan recommends this area suitable for multifamily developments. And here's just a close-up view of the subject site. The subject site, where am I? Consists of one existing 1.62 acre parcel, which is this existing parcel right here, and they're going to incorporate an additional 1.05 acres from the parcel to the south. And this spot alteration will occur by a certified survey map, which has been submitted, which is on the screen now, and is currently being reviewed by staff. The proposed development is consisting of 7 two-family structures, along with a 24-foot wide private drive leading from the condominium development to the north, and then heading south and then exiting onto White Swan Drive. The proposed use of the site is in similar dwelling unit densities as the rest of the developments to the north and west, which average approximately 4.5 to 5 units per acre. This particular development equates to 5.24 units per acre. Okay, these are the elevations of the proposed structures. All 7 structures are identical, each containing 2 1,300 square foot 2-bedroom units and attached 528 square foot 2-car garages. And each unit will have a 5-foot wide by 12-foot long patios on either side of the building. The structures are placed evenly distributed from each other, ranging from 35 to 45 feet from each other, except the southwest or southeastern one, which is about 90 feet from the adjoining structure. The site does contain delineated wetlands, which is shown on this site plan in this shaded area down here. The proposed development, all structures and driveways are well outside of that wetland area and will not be disturbed. Staff did verify with the sanitation division that they do not need to provide a trash and recycling collection or trash enclosure for this site, as 2-family structures do receive traditional trash and recycling pickup from the sanitation division. A cross-access easement will be required between this site and the existing condominium development to the north. This will either be shown on the submitted certified survey map or recorded as a separate document. Architectural design plans, landscaping plan, site lighting plan, and stormwater management and utilities plan have all been submitted and are currently under review by the site plan review committee. These items will be reviewed to ensure compliance with the basic code standards of the M12 or MR12 district. With that, staff is of the opinion that the proposed land use is not in conflict with the criteria listed for conditional use permits and is in support of the development. And staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit with the findings listed above.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we come to the commission. Technical questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any technical questions, so move it to public comment and statement from the applicant. If the applicant's here and would like to make a statement, this is the time. Okay, Tim, you're free to speak if you want to speak right now.
Just gotta unmute yourself first, Tim.
Okay, is he having technical issues right now?
Looks like it. Tim, you should be able to just click the microphone icon. You should be able to unmute yourself so you can talk. All right, in the meantime, I guess we can move on. If we have other people to speak on this, we can try to come back to Tim when he gets it figured out.
Okay, is there anyone else from the public here to to this item? Okay, ask again if there's anyone from the public here to speak to this item. Not seeing any. Hopefully we can get back to the applicant and he can get a statement in here if we can get his technical issues taken care of.
Hey, Mark, it's Jeff. Are you able to chat with Tim?
Can you hear me?
Tim?
Yep,
Can
there
hear
we
you
go,
now.
Tim.
Sorry about that. I had to freeze up, but this is Tim Whitman with Dayville Engineering and Environmental. I am here on behalf of the applicant. I am in favor of the project. If there's any questions from any of the commission members, I will try to answer those.
Okay, if anybody has any questions for the petitioner, please use the raise hand option on here.
John, I'm not seeing that. Where do I find that option? I'm sorry.
If you open up the participant list, you should see your name and there should be a little hand next to your name that you can click. But go ahead, Justin. We recognize you.
Yeah, I was Googling it before and I didn't see it. I'm not sure. I'll take a look, I guess. I was just curious if the representative could talk about any efforts to incorporate any sort of accessibility features into the project, and I guess to what extent city staff provided support for the incorporation of accessibility features.
When you say accessibility, are you referring to ADA?
Yeah, I mean, common things would be, no step entry options, first floor bathroom options, slightly wider walkways on the first floor to 32 inches. Those would be the kind of minimal features. Other obviously much broader would be wheelchair accessible bathrooms and that sort of stuff. But there's a wide range of features, and I was just curious if any of the development is going to have those accommodations, and then to what extent city, I guess either the city staff that you worked with either gave direction or guidance or encouragement for those sorts of things.
Sure. I'm sorry, I can't speak to that directly. I didn't have any involvement with the actual floor plan of the residence. I don't know if there's anyone from city staff who has any conversations with anyone from Midwest that could speak to that.
For projects of this nature, we look to the building code for requirements for accessibility.
Any specific provisions that you could give an example of that might be there that would be applicable?
The building code dictates what accessibility has to be required. We leave it up to our inspections division when they go through permitting to make sure those are met.
In your opinion or your understanding of it, are there accessibility features that were either incorporated here or encouraged by your office or other representatives from City Hall?
I can't speak for other departments. As a CUP for group and large development, we're looking at if it makes sense to have more than 3 structures. That's what we have reviewed in this instance.
if I can just want, I'm going to go through just something really kind of briefly here. As the Planning Commission is aware, the city of Oshkosh puts together their every 5 years they have to do an impediments to fair housing analysis. Specifically, the planning department puts that together. It's one of the best resources available that looks at the existence and the nature and the causes of any barriers that certain populations may have to accessing housing that meets their needs. Oftentimes, those barriers are present for vulnerable populations. The report goes on to then identify a couple of solutions that the city will take a look at and implement for identifying or for addressing any of the cited issues. The last two reports both cite as the leading issue the community's lack of accessible housing for individuals with disabilities. Those issues are center, or they disproportionately impact individuals that are elderly, age 65 and older, as well as low-income households. In that plan, they do cite three specific things that the city would take a look at. One is to offer financial support to assist with and encourage projects that include visibility features such as no step entry, a first floor bathroom, 32-inch doorways. Strategy 2, encourage the development of more units in the city that incorporate universal design principles, and then create a pamphlet that describes universal design, the need for more units that accommodate residents with disabilities, and identifies design support resources. And then the last one is work with local developers and builders to offer training in universal design techniques and encourage their application in all new development, not just designated accessible units. So I guess just follow up. This is from 2012, and I know that this was the main issue cited in the last report as well. So if this department isn't doing that, who is? And I know that not this.
I can answer
forward.
that.
And okay,
the community development's grant coordinator is the one who facilitates that report, not the planning department. And their division is who works with a lot of our developers putting out materials on that information.
I mean, the specific people that are listed on that report are it says planning department, but that last provision where it says work with local developers and builders. Here we have a local developer and builder building housing, and this is an important document from planning. They're connected, and I'm not seeing that strategy that should be in place per the city, I guess, statement. I'm not sure that that's being done.
Our grants coordinator through their community development block grant program does a significant amount of outreach to developers for housing initiatives.
Okay, last question to the representative from the developer. Did somebody reach out to you and say, how can we make this unit accessible? How can we incorporate accessibility features? How can we, I guess, do any of those things that the city states they're going to do regarding incorporation of accessibility features? Do you know?
Sorry, I don't know that. I'm more on the exterior, the site civil aspects, but I can tell you that these are slab on grade construction, so they should be a 0-step entry. But I cannot speak to the specific any conversations between Midwest, their actual floor plan designer, and the city.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ford, do you have a question for the petitioner?
Oh, I do not. I'm sorry. We're still technical questions, right?
No, we're actually in the public comment section. The petitioner's on right now and we're asking questions of him, so.
Okay, never mind then.
Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions. If the petitioner would like to make a closing comment, this would be the time to do it. Otherwise, we can move on from there if that's what you would like.
We can continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Come back to the commission. I'll accept a motion at this time.
Make a motion to accept the findings and recommendations of city staff.
Second.
Okay, did you guys get who had the motion in the second?
Who had the second? Heard two voices.
I was one of them.
I did, but I'm okay if whoever did it at the same time.
It doesn't matter to me either.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Ford.
Yes, I'm learning how this works. Thank you. Just real quick to Commissioner Mitchell, I just wanted to let you know that I'll be sure to bring those three items you mentioned up at City Council when we do the report on our commission meetings over the past 2 weeks. And so at the very least, that'll put that on the city manager's radar screen, and we can ask about if we have any plans there, just so they're aware of it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mitchell, you're next.
Great. I appreciate that, Mr. Ford. I was just going to ask Mr. Lyons if he thought in this specific scenario if there had been any outreach and any sort of encouragement for addressing that issue.
I can't speak to this situation specifically. I would remind Plan Commission, one of the things we're evaluating with the housing study is the need for both executive and top-end housing, as well as low-end and accessible housing. So we do have to make sure we meet all housing goals of the city, not just specific ones.
And if I just may clarify on that, this is not so much saying the traditional vision of I need to have a wheelchair accessible shower. It's things like you're already putting a wall next to your tub. You simply put a grab bar because, as the report states, something to the degree of like 65% of our city's population is going to be older than 50. Or is already, and those populations just have certain features that make life better. And I know some communities they require those sorts of things on new construction. Others, it's incentive based. If you do it, we'll pay for part of it. And at a minimum, ours says that we'll give you information and we'll work with you to encourage you to do it. And ideally, when these things come up, city staff can say, yeah, oh yeah, we did this. Here's what we suggested, and they did these things, and they didn't do those things. I don't want to belabor it anymore, but thanks.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else like to speak on the item? Okay, not seeing anyone. Let's call the roll.
Ford.
Aye.
Grove.
Aye.
Kiefer.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Perry.
Aye.
Single.
Aye.
Kulabali.
Aye.
Davy.
Aye.
Hins.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay, we have nothing else on the agenda. I'll ask Mr. Lyons, do we have anything from planning, or is this time to move to adjournment?
We can adjourn. We do have a workshop, though.
Okay, accepting a motion, or excuse me, I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a
So
motion to
moved.
adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Who's the motion on that one?
John Kiefer.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned.